Imagine the horror of being on a roller coaster and having your seat give out at the worst possible moment, sending you hurtling to your ultimate death. August 6th, 2022, the guests at the Klotti Wildlife and Leisure Park in Klotten, Germany, were having the time of their lives until they experienced an accident so horrifying that it would continue to haunt not only the employees of the park, but all of those who were unfortunate enough to experience it for many years to come. On that fateful day at 4:30 p.m., an unidentified 57-year-old woman from Germany slipped out of her roller coaster seat and plunged 26 feet to her death. Nobody saw it coming, and no one could have predicted that something so tragic was even possible. But unfortunately, it happened, and because of it, many have vowed to never step foot on a roller coaster again if the authorities couldn't even prevent them from falling out of their seats. Although it is unclear what went wrong, investigators are certain of one thing: this was not the result of criminal activity. But now, many are more curious than ever before, and the question still remains: how does someone slip out of a ride that was supposed to be safe? Is it possible that the staff on hand somehow failed to secure her properly? Or was there a problem with the ride prior to her boarding? Most importantly, how did the witnesses react to this, and will the park ever recover? This is the tragic tale of the hot ride roller coaster accident that claimed the life of an unsuspecting old lady. The Hennis family started Klotti Wildlife and Leisure Park in Klotten, Germany in 1970 as a pure game park. However, in 1995, Josef and Hubert Hennis, the family's sons, purchased the park and turned it into what it is today, a park filled with thrilling rides and other fantastic attractions. In addition to the wildlife park, which had been under their administration since 1996, they started constructing playground equipment and rides, which ultimately resulted in the tremendously popular park that is visited by millions today. In 2004, the amusement park's first major feature, a roller coaster called the Hot Ride, was unveiled to the general public for the first time. The ride is a steel roller coaster made in the bobsled coaster style that was produced by Gerstlauer Amusement Rides and first went into operation on April 1, 2004. The route of the ride loops around a structure that was supposed to be created in the shape of a volcano, and it is full of twists and turns the entire way. It was also planned to have a built-in restaurant as well as a wild water ride. However, that was being added on slowly, and it wasn't until the beginning of the 2012 season that the wild water course was first developed, and it is predicted that in the not-too-distant future, it will be built to look like a medieval castle. On the park's website, the ride is classified as not for the faint of heart, and with a maximum speed of 55 kilometers an hour, a maximum angle of 46 degrees, and a height of 550 meters, the ride lived up to its hype. Described by the park as full of curves, a maximum gradient, and up to 60 kilometers an hour, it can take your breath away and move your heart from its usual place. The ride quickly became an instant hit with park visitors. And sadly, on August 6, 2022, around 52 years after the park first opened its doors and 18 years after the hot ride was released, the unthinkable happened as the park recorded its first accident ever. See, around 4 o'clock in the afternoon on that Sunday evening, the hot ride roller coaster began loading new passengers who wanted to experience its heart-wrenching turns. However, disaster was not far from this merry gang of thrill-seekers, as an accident would soon occur that would take the life of a 57-year-old woman from Sankt Wendel who was riding in one of the cars. The ride is made up of 5 separate cars, each of which has seating for a maximum of 4 passengers at once, and is divided into rows of 2. As one of the ride's built-in safety systems, the ride was equipped with a lap bar, which served as the primary means of securing riders while they were on it. As a common measure for riders' comfort and protection, most rides found in amusement parks and other leisure attractions are normally fitted with lap bars. They are built in such a way that they firmly anchor riders in their seats or carts, shielding them from the risk of slipping out of their seats or being ejected while they are on the ride. Found on rides that contain high-energy activities such as rapid speeds, sharp turns, or other types of turns in general, they are often constructed from fortified metal or plastic, and they typically come equipped with locking mechanisms to keep them securely in place. This is because, should they ever fail, the only thing other than their own weight keeping the riders in their seats is luck and the will not to fall to their deaths. Hence, they serve as the absolute last line of defense for the rider's safety. On that terrible day, the lap bar did not function properly, and as a result, the 57-year-old woman tragically fell out of her car and onto the ground 26 meters away. The accident occurred around 4:30 in the afternoon when the ride turned a sharp corner. The first responders and rescuers were unable to get to her quickly because of the uneven terrain beneath the ride, and so, sadly, she could not be saved and was pronounced dead at the scene. As a result of the unfortunate circumstances surrounding her passing, the park was evacuated, a public investigation was launched, and the authorities have chosen not to disclose the victim's name. According to a report from the Bild newspaper, the investigation was initiated by the police in order to determine whether or not the accident was the result of the fault of a third party. Experts in mechanical engineering were called in to evaluate the roller coaster for any flaws that could have contributed to the accident, and investigators were soon dispatched to the scene to assist. Many people suspect that the woman's death was caused by a problem with the lap bar, like a broken part, or perhaps it was locked inappropriately. However, the investigation into this matter is still ongoing, and these rumors have not been verified. The public prosecutor in charge of the case said in a statement the next Monday, August 7th, that there was no initial suspicion of criminal conduct at this time. After the disaster, the park was closed, and they issued a public statement about it on their Facebook page. The statement explained what had happened and said, "Dear park-goers, due to a fatal accident, we will also keep Klotti Park closed on Monday, August 8th, 2022, to support a quick investigation of the accident by the authorities. We would like to use this way to express our deepest sympathy to the family, relatives, and friends." The park also discussed the investigation and how it might impact the park in the future, saying, "Since the cause of the accident is still unclear, we cannot estimate how the park operations will look in the next few days. Thank you for your understanding." The amusement park was closed for 3 days. The German Technical Inspection Association, or TÜV, was contracted to conduct tests, inspections, and certifications to ensure the park and its rides were still safe for the general public to attend. Following this, the park issued another statement on its Facebook page saying, "Authorities are still investigating the cause of the accident. Meanwhile, the on-site investigations have ended, and the roller coaster affected by the accident has been immediately opened for operation. Nevertheless, we decided to have the system inspected again by the TÜV as a precaution. Therefore, the roller coaster remains temporarily closed." The amusement park reopened the following day, August 9th, but the ride that had been the cause of the disaster remained closed. This was in accordance with what the park had previously stated. Even though the park is still open and there are still fun things to do there, the tragic event that happened there will never be forgotten because it still haunts them to this day. "We are still very affected," park officials said, "and it will be difficult for us to return to everyday life. Our thoughts are with the family. We wish them a lot of strength and confidence in these difficult times. Also, while you're here, check out this next video.